What's up, guys? You're welcome to my YouTube channel, Make Them Tech. I hope you guys have been enjoying our video tutorials. This video tutorial happens to be the continuation of our last video tutorial, which is on creating a React application with Webpack and Babel from scratch. So this is the part 2. In this video tutorial, we are going to be looking at how to import CSS into application, how to load images, and then also working with Html Webpack Plugin. Then we are going to round it up with optimization, that is optimizing our React application. And then I believe you guys have not forgotten what we treated in the last video tutorial. So we embarked on a journey and we were able to successfully build a React application with Webpack and Babel. So today we are just trying to extend that tutorial. We'll be looking at those things I've mentioned. Going back to our package.json, I believe we are still much familiar with this. We installed all these things, all these dependencies, and then we configured Webpack, and we started our application and everything worked. So today, now building on that, I'm going to create a CSS file. So let's call it main.css. So let me put button So, this is a GSX, so I want to remove all the quotes, then on all the commas. Okay. Okay, sorry, I made a mistake. The comma should have been replaced with a semicolon. Okay, yeah. Okay, so that's fine. So, yeah. So if I go back to my code, okay, let me run this application now. npm run dev. Okay. So yes, this was where we stopped the last time. Okay, now let me import the CSS into our application. Import that is .main. So let me stop here. Let's see what happens. Now it's a module not found. You can see the reason is because we have not included, we didn't include .css as part of what is to be resolved. So if I add it to this extension, then the problem should not come up again. But still, I think it's best you leave the extension to resolve only GX and GXX, so that you know that, okay, this is just, you are referencing your CSS in your application. Okay, so you have the error now, then you have the full error now. You need an appropriate loader that is to undo this. So that's the message. Now let me just clean this up, and if I go back to my app.js, if I include .css, I'm still going to have the same issue. See now, it's still telling me the same issue. So it's the same issue. Now, because I've removed the extension here and I've added it directly into my code, so it's able to read it, but there is no loader to load it. So what do? I need to install. Okay, so let me just create another terminal. Let's use that one for installation. So let me say npm id, and that is, so we need to loader, css loader. So now while we are installing, I will explain these two loaders. So when you talk about style loader, let's start with css loader. So css loader loads your css, converts it to a string, and then give it to style loader as an input. Then style loader will now inject it into your DOM, and that is how the two operates. So we need to install the two. CSS loader is dependent on CSS loader, so the two of them work hand in hand. So when we install the two of them, we'll be able to run perfectly our CSS files. So that is it. Yeah, APM update fix. It's like there is one high severity vulnerability here. Okay, so while we are fixing that, now we need to go to our webpack.config.js to configure our file loader and our CSS loader. So let's go there now. And then, as you all know, it's all about rules. So we want to set another rule inside our webpack.config. So we are going to instruct. Okay, then there's a mistake that I made then. Yeah, so there is dot in regex itself. So we need to pass this so that we need to escape that dot symbol, so that we'll not have issue maybe later on somehow. So let's put our CSS here, and then we now use, this time around now we are going to bring in an array because we have more than one loader. Okay, so now I want to explain something here about Webpack. So Webpack reads your loader from right to left in the order of priority. I don't know if you guys are getting me. In a situation whereby you have loader B depending on loader A, it means that loader A needs to load first, then the output of loader A needs to be sent to loader B, and then loader B will now finish the work. So in that vein, it means that your last element must be the loader that is going to be used first. Then the next one will follow till you get to the first element of the array. So it's just like when you are running your algorithm code and you are doing array.reverse. So it takes it from the last element to the first element. So that's how it works. So in this case now, we cannot start with CSS loader because we need CSS loader to load our CSS. Then the output will be the input of style loader. Then the style loader will now inject it into our DOM. So it means that what we need style loader. Yes, then the last element here is the first loader that is going to load. So that's it. So if you put style loader as the first element of this array here, you are going to have a problem because your Webpack will use the one that is the last before it goes to the first one. So with this now, we are good to go. Now let's let's go back to our code application app.js, and then we can, let's leave this. We are not going to use it. So I can put it like this, and then I can save it. So now let's go back to so I hope there is no problem. So we have said that it should pick this, then use style loader and use CSS loader for it. And then we have imported our file. Let me see how we are doing that here. That's import.cs, and then we are expecting it to work on this because we are actually using button directly. So I think that's it. So it's still failing. Okay, so let me restart our application on there. So can you see now? So it has worked. So that's it. So for your CSS, you need just two loaders, this CSS loader and style. Let me try to add something to our style here. Let me just say cursor, okay, pointer, yeah. So let's see the changes. That's it. So we are done with CSS loader. In a situation where you want to bring in an image into your code, you will need a file loader or a URL loader. So actually there are two loaders for this. The URL loader loads your images and turns them to base 64 string. And I don't think we need that for this application. So file loader is a normal loader that is going to load an image normally. So there's nothing like converting it to base 64 string. So we will install load that loader now, and then we will now bring in our image into our application. So ID, then that's file loader. So while we are loading that, we can go to our application app.js, and then let's bring in this import. So now you copy your application, you copy your image rather into your code or wherever you want to put it. So when you place it inside there, then you reference it here. You import it here, you import the path. So now this image is here. I've copied it already. I've copied it into this place already. This is how the image looks like. This thing is going to show. Yes, this was what I shown at the beginning of my video. And then so let's go back to our app.js, and then I can say import rwb b2 from, and that will be what, rwb2, and then so I can now bring in an image, my image tag src, and that's what rb2, and that will be this. So by now we should be okay. That means there should have been an error now. Yeah, module not found. So normally, let me even include it here. So it will now complain of the loader. Yeah. So let me go to my Webpack. I've installed that already. Let's see how it is. Yeah, file loader. So let's go to webpack.config.js. So if you have JPG or JPEG or PNG or GIF, and if you are going to be working with PDFs or Microsoft Word document files and other files, you include them here. Okay, so I'm using just one file loader here. As file loader. So this is what we have. So we have successfully configured our Webpack now with a new rule now. So anytime you encounter JPEG or any of these extensions, you use file loader to load them. Okay, so we go back to our app.js. Okay, we've done the right thing here, and then here is our image tag, so we are using it directly here. Okay, so let's rerun our application. Okay, it's saying that no, okay, we've not saved. Wow, sorry, we've not saved. No wonder. Okay, so let's start again. So this is it. So we can see the image now. It's too big, so let's try to reduce. Let's go to our main.js, main.css rather, img. So I'm deliberately not using the class names and the IDs, just because we're just trying to do a small application, so just working with the tag directly. Okay, so let's just say the width is 350 px. So then we should have a good image now. Yeah, so that's it. So with this now, at least you've been able to see how to load your image. Just use your import. You can also use require, but why would you use require where you have import, which is very good when it comes to that. So the next thing we'll be looking at now is how to use our. Okay, there's one more thing I want to do. Let me open another terminal. Okay, let me use the same terminal I've been using for the installation. Let's say I want to build now, run build. Now this is production build. Let's see what happens. So we'll see how our images, we'll see how this image is going to be compiled and then dropped inside our build folder. So let's watch what is going to happen. So that's it. Now see something, assets. This should I use the word string? Yes, long string .js. Yeah. So this is going to work too. If you are serving your folder, it's going to work because it has been referenced in your bundle.js already. So this is fine. But if you are the type that you don't want something like this, you want the exact name, then you can still tweak your Webpack config to give you what you want. Here we'll be bringing in, like I said the other time, if you want to be detailed about something, you have to bring in an object. So we specify our loader here as file loader. Then there's something called options. So then the options, we put name, and then you can put the name, just put name like so. It's going to be the image. Then you put .ext. So it's going to be a string. So with this now, you should have the name of the image. So let's run our plugin. So good job. Now if you look at the build folder, you will see the image here, same image as what we have here. So that's that. Now let's move quickly to HTML Webpack plugin. Now the essence of this is, take for example, I'm going to delete this build folder. I'm going to delete it now. Yeah. Now I've deleted it. So what we want to do basically is this. If you look at our entry point, we are picking this, and the output is to this build folder. So what this does is this: when the build folder is not found, it is created, and then the bundle.js is inserted. So it's dropped rather. Now, if you want, probably when we started this video tutorial, the last tutorial, I had to create the build folder, and I created index.file inside. Then I put the normal HTML tags. I referenced this build.js there. So in a stream you don't want to go through all that. You just bring in your HTML Webpack plugin. It's going to create your index.html and also reference this part in your code. So let's try out that. Let me install that first. That's it's also a dependency, sorry, a development dependency. So let me put HTML Webpack plugin. So while we await the installation, just continue. Let's just start configuring our Webpack to HTML Webpack plugin. HTML Webpack plugin is equal to require, so it's going to be HTML Webpack plugin. Okay, that's, please don't mind me. I don't want to just repeat this keyword const again. I just want to use my comma here and just have it like this. So we go to our plugins. Yeah, so you can have many plugins here. So I'll bring in new, then the HTML plugin here, then I have it like this. So this is how you set up your HTML Webpack plugin. So let's wait for the application to finish. Let's just finish, then we'll restart. Okay, so update fix. So checking our package.json, that's it. Yeah. Okay. So we save our. Need to save it now. So I've saved it. Now let me run the npm run build now. So let's see. Yeah. So you can see that the build folder we deleted is back again, and then if you look inside, you see the index.html and also the bundle.js. So look at how the index.html looks like. You can see, and you can see the name of. So because we've already set our file, our output to this name bundle.js, let me show you the parts that I'm talking about. You see the file name here. This, so it will just use this part to your build folder, and then it will reference it directly inside your index.html, and that's what you have here. But you see that the title is something else, a Webpack app. So, but this is not a problem. We'll find a way around this. It's not even like finding a way around it. There is a way to overcome this issue. Now, let's try to. So, what we want is the default configuration for Webpack. Now in the stream you want your own configuration, so you want your own template to be used. Then you can do that also in Webpack, HTML Webpack plugin. So normally all your files, your images, your index.html templates needs to be inside a public folder as a public asset. Rather. So let me create, so it's something that you notice just like a video tutorial, so you should know the best practices. So let me just create an index.html file now, and then that is going to serve as a template for our application. Okay, so let me just copy what is here already, then let me bring it. Okay, so but I don't like the way it is, so let me just okay. So now what we used the other time is Webpack and Babel setup for React app. So this is what we have. So let's watch what's going to happen. Let's go to our webpack.config.js. We are going to do our configuration here. So you put file name and then you reference that path, join, and that's in our source folder, and then index.html. So now so don't forget what is here. You see the title here. We've changed the title in our template here. So we have a template here already. So don't be confused with what is in the build folder. That's it. So let me now run the application again. Have I saved? Okay. So let me run the build again. Okay, index is not defined. Okay, I think that is an issue here. Sorry. Let's see. Okay, so let's have it again. Yeah, so let's check our index.html now. Okay, so what's happening? Okay, probably because of what is inside here already. So let me delete the build folder again and run my application all over again. Okay, so let me start run build again now. Okay, so oh, sorry, I made a mistake. I was like, oh, this is supposed to be templates. It's supposed to be templates. Oh, sorry, my bad. Oh, wow. Okay, so let's watch out for what's going to happen now. Yeah, so we have the index.html back. Yes, so that means what happened then was that okay, so let me see what we have here. Okay, so this thing has changed again. Okay, so let me change it back. So let me check back. I was wondering that where's the title coming from again, not knowing that maybe when it's ran the other time the thing changed. Okay. Okay, so this is what we have now. Okay, so normally the Webpack ordinarily, if you look at what is happening here, you see that we have double source, that's a script here. So Webpack is going to ordinarily put your bundle.js, it's going to reference it directly because he knows that that's what you are trying to do. So we don't need to do the job. Let's allow Webpack to do its own job. So, but don't let us forget I've almost forgotten, must not forget our React application, which renders inside this element. So let's do it like this. Then our Webpack and Babel setup for React app. So this is how our template should be. So you know, Webpack does not know whether you are talking about React or whatever. So you have to put this yourself. Then you have to put your title and whatever you want to reference. If you are using a jQuery or a CDN or a particular UI framework or library, you reference them inside this head tag. So I think our template is okay, and now let's rerun our application to see what we're going to have. So going back here, so we can see, yes, so we can see that exactly what we have in our template, that is Webpack Babel setup for React. So then let's go again. We see our element for our React div. Yes, then we see the normal reference for our bundle.js. So, and then you can also decide to probably, let's say in our okay, so I want to do something now. Okay, so take for example now, if I do something like this, you can also inject the title of your application on the fly. That is at the point of Webpack building your application, then you can inject the title directly from Webpack. So let's see how it works. HTML Webpack Plugin dot options.title. So now let me go to Webpack config. So here I can put the title here. So what should we put it? What should we call the title? Let's call it Webpack is cool. Okay, so Webpack is cool. Yeah. So let me save it. So let's rerun our application now. So you can see it here. And then if I go back to my build folder, you will see that the thing has changed. Can you see it here? Webpack is cool. So that's HTML Webpack plugin for you. Okay, let's go back to our Webpack development server. Okay, so let's go to what are we having here. Let me refresh. Webpack is cool. So we are still on track. So the last thing we'll be looking at is optimization. I'm going to optimize our code. So let's bring in optimization here. So you write optimization, and that's going to be optimization, and then you're going to have what we call split chunks. Okay, so then after that we will have to catch the groups. Yeah, so actually what we are doing here is that we want a situation whereby our file will be splitted into two. That is the vendor, that is those things we are using in our node modules will be in one separate bundled file. Then the main application itself will also be in another file, so that we don't have two big files, like having a very huge file. So basically what we are doing is not something big, and our application is still very light. But in the situation where you are building a React application that you have a lot of vendors, you are using a whole lot of modules, you are using your application, and then your application is growing big and big and big. So it's best to optimize it so that you can have like 2 or 3 files, and then the 3 of files will load concurrently in your application. So if they might not even load concurrently in the application, the first one will load, the second one will load, the third one will load normally. So in any way we want to do it. So what I want to do basically now is to chunk out the vendor and then have it separate in a file, and then have my main application separate in another file. So my optimization is going to capture my node modules. So let me bring in the test here. So it's more like we are writing a test here. Okay, so we still have to put vendor. So vendor. So this is basically like you are writing a rule for what to be chunked in this application. So we are going to put our test, and then we write node underscore modules. Yeah. So we are going to put the name of the file, what we want it to be. We call it vendor, and then you can put the chunks to be that will be what. Okay, initial. So actually this, we have initial, we have all. You see, when it is all, you are talking about asynchronous. When you are loading, maybe you have something you are doing in your application, we have some of your files that are loading asynchronously, so it's done. But this one is basically the normal one that you use. That's for chunk, that's initial. And then we have the enforce true. For this now, we are okay, sorry, there's a problem here. Okay, so this is basically how you set up your optimization. So optimization, you have your split chunk, you bring it here. Then now the essence of this catch is that, you know, when your application, the node modules don't change often. Yes, they don't change. So instead of you having to be so the optimization is just capturing that area whereby you don't have to be building it over and over again. So you don't have to be performing all those things that Webpack is performing on those modules again, because they don't often change. So, and I think that's all for optimization. That's all for optimization. Let's look at okay. Okay, so I think we are fine. So let me rerun the application now. Let me build it again. Let's see what happens. Oh, there's a problem here. Okay, yeah, let me run the application now normally. Yes. Okay. Okay, I was just wondering that what's going on because the file is still 134 and then it's still not changing here. It's just still giving me the bundle.js. So let me save it and start it again. So let's watch out. Yo. Okay, so you can see what we have here. Okay, can you see this one has turned to bundle.js here, then this one is 130. Yeah, so you can see that this, you can see how it's naming it. So we have problem with naming here. So now we have to bring in the name here so that it will use the name we are saying it should use. For example, the vendor optimization will carry vendor.js, and then the main application itself, which is the entry point of application, is going to carry main.js. So let's try out this new change and see the result. So that's it. Can we see it here? Can we see it here? Yes, so we can see the main.js, we can see it here. So let me just go folder so that we can have something sane and then we will not be confused because a whole lot of files have been generated. So let me do it again now. npm run page. Yeah, so these are build folder. Then we can see it here. We can see the main.js and we can see the vendor.js. And if you want to check out the file size, yes, you can see that the main.js itself has reduced, and that's 4.42, and then the vendor.js is now 130. So instead of, the two of them were together as 134. So in the Swimmer, you have a very huge file. So chunking it or splitting it into two like this is going to help your application to load faster. So we have come to the end of this tutorial, and then if you have any question, you can drop that in the comment section. I will be willing to attend to your questions. So, and then we'll learn together. If there is any other thing that you are not clear about, or there's something that you want us to do video tutorial on, especially on this issue of Webpack and React and others, you can also put the suggestion in our in the comment section rather. So let me go to our Webpack now. Let's see our application. Okay, application is still much intact. So our application is still very much intact. So this brings us to the end of the tutorial. So guys, please, I want you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Make Them Tech. We'll be bringing to you from time to time video tutorials on React, JavaScript, and so on. then please turn on the notification bell so that whenever we drop a new video, you'll be notified. So thank you for watching. I will see you in my next video.